Yo, what's up? I'm Eldritch Terror, and welcome back to my channel where I like to talk about all things spooky, scary, and have a little bit of fun. Yes, it's January, and that means that we're in for a slew of awful horror movies that just couldn't make it in the fall season. And one movie that's at the top of my list of things to fear is Blumhouse's 2025 Wolfman movie. This is a loose remake of sorts of Universal's legendary monster movie from 1941, The Wolfman. Yes, hot on the heels of Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, Jason Blum thinks that he's got something for us. And as intriguing as the 2010 Wolfman remake was, it definitely had its faults, so what do you think they got? Well, the answer to that is nothing good, unfortunately. So join me today on my mad ramblings as I try to explain to you why I think the Wolfman movie is going to be very bad. Now, there's a lot of things that concern me about this movie, but it's almost impossible to talk about this without bringing up the rest of the dark universe stuff that Universal has been trying to do over the past decade or so. So hungry for money, Universal digs into the monster's locker in a shameless attempt to stir some profit. Yes, it seems like Universal has developed a new formula where instead of trying to remake or reinterpret these classic monster movies, Universal and Blumhouse have instead decided to go the route of just making them entirely new properties loosely based on the ideas in which they were originally conceived. It's such a shame that this is what modern audiences and generations will know these monsters by. So in 2017, Universal gave us The Mummy movie. This film was intended to kickstart the Dark Universe as a modern cinematic universe concept based on the classic Universal Monsters film series. But the poor box office performance led to the cancellation of the shared universe. And when we say this film did poorly, I mean it was really bad. I mean, just look at the accolades here. Tom Cruise won Worst Actor for this film. That's crazy. And though The Mummy was the first attempt at expanding the cinematic universe, the 2014 film Dracula, no, not that Dracula movie, Dracula Untold, was originally retrospectively considered to be the first film in this series. However, since the film's release, the connection to the Dark Universe was purposefully downplayed, and The Mummy was then repositioned as the first film in the series. There was even a remake in production of The Bride of Frankenstein, with Angelina Jolie attached for the lead role, and was slotted for a release in February of 2019. Back in May of 2017, the official Dark Universe Twitter account posted an image with Tom Cruise, Sofia Boutella, Johnny Depp, who was supposed to be attached to the Invisible Man film, Javier Bardem, who had signed on to play Frankenstein's monster, and Russell Crowe all standing together. But by late 2017, Kurtzman and Morgan reported to have walked away from their roles as the franchise's creative leads. Kurtzman later confirmed in a 2019 interview that he is no longer involved in the franchise and has no idea what's going on with it. By 2019, Universal announced plans to return to the standalone features instead of using a shared universe film narrative, effectively ending the Dark Universe. But this doesn't mean that they haven't subtly tried to bring it back in one way or another over time. After the failures of Dracula Untold and The Mummy, we'd finally get that Invisible Man remake in 2020. And man, that wasn't great either. With how bad all these films were, it's really making me miss that first Wolfman remake that we got back in 2010. It absolutely was not perfect by any means, but it was a lot better than what we're getting here. Dracula Untold took the story that we all know and love about the fearsome vampire from Transylvania. It morphed it into some sort of reverse hero story, where Dracula is framed as a good guy just trying to make a greater sacrifice for the good. And the 2017 Mummy film took the menacing and mysterious character and changed the story's whole vibe to more so match a standard Tom Cruise Mission Impossible style film. I mean, this thing is ridiculous, and they really didn't even try to put any kind of story here. It's just Tom Cruise doing stunts with a little bit of mummies in it. And the Invisible Man? Oh my god. If you can someone please tell me in the comments what this has anything to do with the Invisible Man, that would be appreciated. The original Invisible Man was crazy. He was a madman, but he had a sense of charm to him. And he was, invisible, like actually invisible, like him himself was invisible. This remake takes a cautionary tale about spousal abuse and turns it into a high-tech murder fantasy of sorts. And again, the ending here, probably just as bad as the Mummy one. I have no idea what the moral of this story was. I guess you become the monster. The two wrongs make it right. That's what we're getting out of this. The original Universal Monsters films were just art for their time. They encapsulated amazing cinematography and directorial work. They featured some of the best best actors of their time, and they told stories that would last for centuries. What Universal and Blumhouse has tried to do here has just completely ripped away any bit of charm that those have. It's truly a soulless money grab. And I love the Universal monsters. There's some cool quote-unquote dark universe stuff going on over at the Universal theme parks in Florida. But these movies are just not it, man. Blumhouse has built up a serious track record with just ruining classic franchises, and I really hope that anybody trying to make a remake or a requel or anything like that, just please avoid getting your money from Blumhouse. I mean, just look what Robert Eggers just did with Nosferatu. Are you really gonna put out Wolfman a couple of weeks after that? That's crazy. Okay, so now that we've laid down the groundwork of why I don't trust Universal and Blumhouse handling this property, let's get into what we know about the Wolfman so far. So the very first time that I heard about this Wolfman was when Halloween Horror Nights had a little pop-up photo op event where you could take pictures with a man dressed up in the Wolfman makeup. I mean, technically it was just like a costume, but this was the reveal of the character. This was planned to be like a big thing from Blumhouse and Universal. They really wanted this to hit well at Horror Nights. I mean, this is something that we kind of expect there. But this is what we got. So a laughable response was given. They pulled this photo op after only one night of having it out, and then it was radio silence about this Wolfman movie for a while after that. I mean, after months of not hearing anything, I really thought that they were going to can this thing. But then trailers started to pop up. And when I saw these, my suspicions were confirmed. This was gonna have absolutely nothing to do with the Wolfman. So I've flicked through all these trailers a few times now, and I've tried to figure out what I can about it. And the first thing that I can tell you is that this awful werewolf design is still front and center in this movie. I don't know who came up with this, who thought this was a good idea, or who decided to leave this in, but it's in there. We're gonna see it in all of its glory. But I'm also pretty sure that from the vast amount of footage that they've shown in this film, I am already exactly sure what's gonna happen and exactly how this is gonna go. So here's my predictions. Spoilers beware. I mean, I can't really spoil anything. I haven't seen the movie, but this is just what I think's gonna happen. Okay, follow me out here. The movie's gonna open with the family going to move into a new house. They're driving this U-Haul truck, and they're attacked by an elder werewolf out in the woods. It mauls one of the family's friends to death, and then the family just barely makes it back to the house. And oh no, the dad's been bitten. So I assume that the majority of this movie is gonna take place with the family inside of the house, trying to hide from this werewolf in the woods that took their friend and injured their father. As the father slowly goes through the werewolf transformation process and then eventually becomes a werewolf himself. But from the way that the characters talk to each other in the trailers and that this whole thing is set up, I am very afraid, and I think I might be right here, that we're going to get a werewolf showdown, much like the last Wolfman remake they tried to make. That was like the one part of the movie that everybody thought was way over the top and that they probably shouldn't have gone with. They probably should have kept it a little bit more true to the original. But they're going to double down on it, and they're going to take the worst part of that remake and put it in with the worst things they could think of, what it looks like. Yeah, the Dark Universe sounds like something that could have been really, really cool, but I think it was just mishandled from the jump. It's so unfortunate. Maybe if they had gotten the people that have been writing all those awesome houses at Halloween Horror Nights involved to take this project and run with it, then it could have been really cool. But unfortunately, it was left in the hands of the moneymakers at Blumhouse, and it's not going great. But hey, what do you think about these movies? Did you hate them as much as I do, or do they have a soft spot in your heart? I don't know, maybe I'm being a party pooper. Let me know in the comments. Are you excited for this Wolfman film? Are you gonna give it a chance in theaters? For better or for worse, I'm definitely gonna go check it out and let you guys know what I think about it. Do you prefer these kind of modernized interpretations that Blumhouse has been doing with these, or do you like what Nosferatu did earlier this winter? But as always, I've been Elder's Terror. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more just like it. And if you think you have a friend that might enjoy it, be sure to send it their way. Whether your day's been going good or bad today, I hope it gets better.